Hey, it's Jordan with TYT Politics, and I'm here with Brennan Nastasio. He's a Native American, a water protector who's had a hell of a ordeal the last few months. And your case, there's so many different cases of just bogus charges where I call them the oil police, are trying to essentially imprison Native Americans, environmental activists, for fighting for their land, for the water, and creating fake charges out of thin air. For people who don't know, you and two others were arrested. How long ago?
Well, I wasn't arrested. I went and turned myself in.
Okay,
I went and turned myself in January, like 2 weeks ago.
okay. And the incident where this happened was in November, correct?
Yes, on November. No, the incident that happened was in October 27th.
Okay, October 27th. So basically, I want you to tell the audience from beginning to end what happened, where you're now being charged, correct me if I'm wrong, with terrorism or terrorizing charges.
Correct. It's a Class C felony. On the day of October 27th, everybody before the 27th were trying to claim eminent domain on the North Camp, right where they were digging out the sacred burial sites. And they claimed eminent domain so they could camp on the other side of the burial sites. And that day on the 27th, when the police came in along with the DAPL security to come and surround the camp, that's the day that incident happened. That day there was like all kinds of chaos going on, and I remember I was taking some of the guys that got shot off the horse back to camp to the medic center, and
So just so people know, this was not the main Osheti Sakoan camp. This was the camp north of it, the treaty camp.
yes, the treaty camp. There you
Okay.
go. And that was on that's north of Ochete Shikoing. And the medic tent was set up at Ochete Shikoing, so we'd drive from the front lines back to camp, and we dropped them off, picked up some water for the guys and some food, and then going back to the front lines, coming back over the hill, there was like an unusual amount of people that were, gathered there more than what was there when I was taking people to camp. And
And
there was a
was this by the backwater bridge?
Yes, correct. It was a backwater bridge. There were some unchis, some grandmas there, crying and pointing out to a guy who appeared to have a gun in his hand. And what came to mind immediately was my son and my nephew, who have been up here with me since August. My son had collected a bunch of donations, and we brought him up here. We've been here ever since. And on that day, I was first thing that came to my mind was like, wondering where my son and my nephew was at, and there was a guy with a gun in his hand. And so I got out. We went towards the guy, told him to put down his weapon. He insisted that he didn't want to. He didn't want to hand it over. So we told him to unload his 30-round clip. He didn't want to do that.
I don't want to interrupt you, but I just want to set the scene. The guy, he was wearing a red bandana over his face. And
Yes.
what kind of weapon did he have?
He had an assault rifle. It was an AR-15 with a 30-round clip in it. He also had two 30-round clips in his cargo pants. Um, he was wearing things around his arms to cover up his tattoos. He was trying to convince us that he was part of a camp, but the only thing was is that he was too clean. He was too clean. He didn't know where he was camping. He didn't know who he was camping with, or where in camp he was camping at. And then as we were trying to talk this guy to de-escalate the situation, I slowly started figuring out that this guy wasn't part of camp. And then in the background, all I could hear is he's DAPL. Somebody found his security badge. And so immediately then, he must have got freaked out. He must have gotten freaked out. He was waving the gun around at everybody. So when we came into the water, he pointed a gun at me. Um, we took him into the water.
So you
Um,
started on land, you started on the bridge, and then it moved into the water?
no, it started by his truck.
Okay,
I just so happened to be on the bridge coming back,
got it.
and then there was already people there. People were already scattered because he was pointing the guns at him. Um, as I was going in, people were running out,
Hmm.
and we're telling him, "Hey, man, put the gun down." And he was, just let me go, just let me go. He kept on saying,
And just so the audience knows, for context, this was a chaotic day already. They had raided this camp. They were pulling
"Exact,
they were pulling people out of sweat lodges, elderly Native Americans. This is the same day that Red Fawn was taken by what looks like nine police officers on top of her. So this was an incident where natives and non-natives were already had their guards way up.
yes, I believe, yeah, all kinds of things happened that day. Horses were getting shot, people were getting shot. The bridge on 134 where people were, I mean, the police and DAPL were trying to come across and surround everybody, but they couldn't. And I think that's when all this had happened. Is I don't know. It just happened so fast. Just some quick reaction to de-escalate the situation just came into mind. Even though I saw Kyle, he was clean cut and everything, I didn't know for sure who he was. I just know that I didn't want anybody to get shot, with everybody being out there. Um, you hear all them cops shooting people. The last thing I wanted is to have the elderly and the women and the children to see someone get shot.
Hmm.
And so we kept on talking to him, kept on telling him to take out his clip. And then eventually, when he seen BIA coming down the hill, um, he was like, hey, it finally set in that he's not going to go nowhere. And then we turned him over to BIA.
I wanna
Then,
I wanna move backwards for a second.
okay,
First of all, I've seen video with you in the water, and my vision of terrorism is, someone holding a gun to somebody's head, or something like that.
yeah,
This video clearly shows you're not invading his personal space. You're a safe distance away. As far as I can see, you're not armed, and it seems like you're calmly asking. I can't tell the words, but it seems like it's a calm conversation where you're asking him to hand over his gun. Am I getting anything wrong there?
no, sir, no, that's all correct. Um, yeah, it was a real scary situation. Being having a gun pointed at you, multiple times, and in a lot of videos, it clearly shows his finger on the trigger, and just to have that play over and over in your head, it gets to you, and altogether like 8 times, and it's I constantly think like what would have happened if nobody went out there and did that, and what would have Morton County have done, if that situation would have happened, turned different, turned for the worst, and then what would have happened? Would they have been? I don't, I don't know. It's a bunch of mixed emotions after I've really started looking at the videos just recently, like, after I watched the first video you guys did, I was like, wow, I was, to be honest with you, I was scared. It was scary.
And you know what I find interesting? Um, if you were a white dude with a cowboy hat, and this happened in like Nebraska, I think you would be heralded as a hero and probably given like a key to the city by the police
Yeah,
department. But
exactly.
because you're a Native American, because the police there, I've been there 5 times. It's very clear they're not following the law. They're not
No, sir.
they're not executing the law. They're just breaking the law. You now are charged with terrorism charges. So I wanna get into that. What happened after this incident? You said they handed him over to BIA. To my knowledge, Kyle Thompson, who it was shown that he had a DAPL security badge, was released. To my knowledge, there's no charges against him. When was the first time you knew there were charges against you?
Um, the first time I knew was on December 2nd. On Facebook. I had to find out on Facebook. Um, some guys came to camp. He's like, "Hey man, you're a wanted man," and I was like, "Really?" And then my nephew comes up and he's like, "Yeah man, I heard you on the radio. You're on Morgan County's most wanted list." I was like, "Really?" So I went up to Facebook Hill and I had to see for myself. And then, sure enough, I pulled up Morgan County's Facebook page, and sure enough, they had a picture of me in the water, talking with Kyle Thompson. And that's when it hit me, like, hey man, this is real, man. They actually got a warrant out for my arrest for saving lives. It's just unbelievable.
And what, you hear the charge terrorism, but is there anything else they've told you? Terrorism based on what?
um, they hadn't really said nothing, to be honest with you. They're just trying to go by supposedly what Kyle Thompson said. Um, I'm not gonna know more until I have my court hearing, my preliminary hearing. So,
So basically, you found out on Facebook. And
hmm
have you had a court hearing since then?
yes, I went and turned myself in. Even that was funny because like I had to wait like 10 minutes for them to come and arrest me, and I went in there. Upon getting I got booked. They put me in oranges, and 10 minutes I was seeing the judge, and then I posted bail. And then a whole 2 hours I was in there, and then they let me out. They gave me my conditions of release, and they told me that I couldn't leave the state. They told me not to be in contact with Kyle Thompson. Um, yeah, um, it's rough, not leaving the state, and I finally went to court, and asked if I could leave the state because my son's going to be graduating in February, and he's still in high school, and they granted me that access to leave the state, but just to go back and forth until I have my court date, so I'm limited, and it's it's been a big battle, financially drained, spiritually drained. Um, I can't really go nowhere because I lost my job. I lost my house. I done pawned everything I own just to try to keep up with my truck payments. And I'm still behind. Um, I've had my PayPal accounts shut down. I've got put on a blacklist at Walmart, so I wouldn't get any funds sent to me. And yeah, it's just been a big roller coaster for me. It went from getting chased by helicopters, followed by drones and airplanes, to now I don't know. I don't know what else they want to do to me.
And did you lose your house and job because of the charges?
Yes, basically because I can't leave, and it sucks.
And your job was out of state?
Yes, I was living in Denver.
Mm.
I was doing good. I just started my business last year. Came up here to help my son bring donations up. It was just supposed to be a weekend thing, and that dog incident happened like 20 minutes within arriving here, our first time, and witnessing all that. The dog incident. It just really, I was like, it was a jaw dropper, to be honest with you. Something you see in the movies, something you see overseas. I definitely didn't ever think that it would be happening here to our people, but it did. And there was no telling what else they could do or what else they were had in mind. Obviously, you know, they sent Kyle Thompson to camp with a loaded assault rifle. You know, just things like that. And you know, still to this day, there's there's no telling what these guys are gonna do. You know, every day is a new day. They come up with new things and new laws that they pass. Like, you know, you see that new law they passed. If a pedestrian gets hit for protesting, then it's, you know, frankly quite okay.
Right.
You know, just stuff like that. It's like,
AKA,
wow.
AKA giving license to pro pipeline people to run over water protectors,
Yeah, exactly.
or any protest for that matter. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's I don't know, man. It's definitely, you know, like I said, a jaw dropper, something that is mind boggling.
How many years are you facing?
I think the max is like 5. I could be wrong. 5 years, I think it said on there. You know,
And your legal representation, do you have a public defender or a private lawyer?
I have a I have a private lawyer. We finally went and dug around, did a little bit of homework on who was best equipped to represent me because I just didn't want anybody else. It shows how they didn't want no public defender. Um, yeah, and hopefully I can afford it.
Yeah, we'll talk. I'll get your info if people want to help out. Last question. What does it say to you that in 2017 this happened under President Obama? There's now President Trump, but just in America, the legal system and the marriage between big money and politicians allows someone who peacefully tried to de-escalate a situation with a unknown man holding an assault rifle right near a protest camp. That man is being charged with terrorism, while the man holding the gun and threatening is has no repercussions. What does that say to you?
um, I think the system is against us, and this is proof. You know, things that are happening to me and to my people and here in Standing Rock. This is proof that you know they don't want a fair trial or they don't want um, how would I say it? This is proof of the injustice happening here, you know, and all over the place. You know, not just to Native Americans. You know, there's blacks, there's Hispanics. You know, there's even whites here, Asians. You know, people from all over the globe. You know, and it saddens me that the Democrat and the Republicans have money priorities than they would um, than they would like they say when they go in you know when they go and try to get office. You know, we're here for the people. You know, they say that, you hear that numerous times all over TV, but are they really for the people? I don't think so. You know, Democrats and Republicans, they have their monies tied up, big oil companies and wherever they can get money. I guess it seems to me that's where their best interests are.
And when's your next court date?
My next court date is February 14th.
Ah, Valentine's Day. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to stay on this. We'll probably see each other. I'm coming back there this weekend, and we're going to try to expose the injustice here. Not just with you, but there's two others charged in this case falsely. Mike Fazig and Israel. I forgot his last name. So we'll be spotlighting all of it. Thank you for taking the time.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it, brother.
Thanks.